Primetime Outfitters has got some deer.
We're done in Iowa.
It's amazing that there are still people out there that think that we've got it easy just because we're on TV and they see us kill stuff on almost every episode. But that's just not the case. We still contend with Mother Nature, unpredictable animals, and equipment malfunctions just like you do.
For instance, in 2011, I was lucky enough to draw an Iowa gun tag. It's the last day of the hunt. I grunted this mature buck to 50 yards, drop him in his tracks, and just a few minutes go by, he's back on his feet and gone. We looked and looked for that deer and never did find him, and I was sick about it.
It's a shooter, it's a big buck, big buck. Kelly. Did I grunt in another big buck? Thank you, God, thank you. Easy. He's flopping. Yeah, I know, I see him.
This is when being transparent, honest, and keeping it real about hunting really kind of stings. Shot the deer, boom, dropped him in his tracks. 50-yard shot, should have been nothing to it. To be perfectly honest with you, we sat right there for just a minute or two. When we went over there, that deer was gone. We didn't go in there last night. We backed out, tried to look at the footage and figure out what was happening. We came back in here this morning, Shane, Kirby, and myself, and spent the last 3.5 hours combing this whole block. No more blood, no nothing. Absolutely vanished into thin air.
That was a nightmare and a horrible way to end the season, but it's reality, and it does happen to us too.
You know, I think the worst part about that whole situation for me was knowing how rare it is to get a second chance at an opportunity like that. But notice I said rare. We're back in Iowa, and this year I brought the PSE. It's mid-November, and we're in Iowa because we've got an archery tag. Well, see, I know you know there's a lot of deer here, but now you can see them.
Whoa, David, look at these. You came through.
You thought I wouldn't?
Some Nikon Monarchs.
And those are real light handy for, you know, when you're bow hunting or something, or when you're hiking or huffing through the woods, you don't need something real big and heavy. These things are the trick. Half of an 8-point. Think Primetime Outfitters doesn't have big bucks?
We got a couple anyways.
Well, show me one.
Maybe not a lot, Dave, just a couple.
Everybody knows when you first get to camp, you need to check your sights, whether it be on your rifle or your bow. But what a lot of people don't do is practice with the gear they're going to use when they're in a tree. I'm going to be wearing gloves, I'm going to be wearing a coat. So, in case it changes my anchor point and stuff, I want to practice with this gear on. Let's get back here at a practical distance. That was 19.5, dead on 20 right here. Straight right and a touch high. I'll aim at about the B and block right there. And then we'll know we need to make an adjustment. So we just need to adjust the IQ just to smoke. And you see it's right, and you want to follow your arrow when you're adjusting your sights. Doesn't need much. But see, that's why it's always a good idea to check. That is so cool about this sight right here. You look at that little retina lock thing. You can tell if you're out of form, you know. If you get in a tree and get in a bind, you're all funky. All you gotta do is get that little dot in the middle there. It's like an inline level. Just make sure she's straight and you're good to go. I say we made the right adjustment.
I'd say.
We just got to Iowa. We just got our first stand set hung. It's in a beautiful spot. We're on this little thin strip. It's this big block of timber meets this big block of timber, and it kind of crests right up here between a cut bean and a cut cornfield. And there's just a thin strip of trees, and there's an old tractor gap right there where they cross the fields with the combines. And Kirby's been getting a lot of good pictures right there, some big deer. So That's where we're gonna sit this evening, right on that gap. Get this Iowa hunt started. Hung these stands. We've been in them 15 minutes. It's a good sign, man. That's a good sign. Turning a negative into a positive, my nightmare of 2011 wasn't all bad. While we were tracking my buck, I found this little pocket at the bottom of this thick cedar draw where it died into a dry creek bed. The sign was everywhere, and I knew this would be a perfect spot for a bow set.
So first day in camp, when we got there this year, we hung a set down in that hole. And on the second day, the wind switched perfect for it. Stayed that way for the next 4 days, and so did we.
The set was perfect, the sign was there, and the wind was in our favor. We knew it was just a matter of time and patience. Well, good morning. The paparazzi's up early. Patience is a virtue, good things come to those who wait, all those nice cliches and whatever you call those quotes, they can kick in at any time. Day 4 right here. Well, it wasn't a bad morning. We didn't see a whole bunch, but saw that one mature buck on his feet late this morning. But this afternoon should be really, really good. We're gonna slip out and get a bite to eat real quick. Get back in here like midday, like 12:30 if we can. The backside of this tree stand is right on this creek, and it's a long ways down. And you talk about ruining your hunt. It's just dumb not to hunt with a safety harness. They got them nowadays. There's so many different types, but they're all lightweight, they're convenient, they got pockets on them. There's no reason not to. They are absolutely mauling this food plot. This is the Imperial Whitetail 4 Jotes Plus. It's really, really sweet. It's got a lot of sugars in it and stuff. And this is the ideal thing for a place like Iowa because it's really winter hardy and the deer are already pounding it. I mean, look at all the tracks in here. Our stand is right down in the bottom. We're down in this hole, in this big thicket. This whole hillside here is nothing but a big rabbit thicket. And we got a stand at the bottom right here where a bunch of big trails converge. And they're dropping out of this food plot and they're coming out of some ag fields on the other sides. Should be good. He didn't fare too well when God was handing out antlers. That's a 1.5 old deer at least. 150-pound whitetail. And he had just barely enough horn to make a spot on his head. I've seen a lot of weird things, but that's a first. it done in Iowa. I shot him with my PSC. Primetime Outfitters, Albia, Iowa. Kirby Schultz. I watched the footage back and it definitely went through him. These things have a way of hiding. There it is. I mean, that thing streaked through him so fast it didn't hardly get any blood on him. Give a shout out to my boys at Archery Outpost in Tulsa. They hook us up and take care of all of our equipment. Couldn't do it without you guys, thanks. Man, I can smell that deer. I need to find any more blood, buddy. We're done in Iowa. God, look at that, baby. I thought Kirby said there were no cattle in here. Are you kidding me? Look at the neck on that deer. And I'm a huge man. Tim, we know this deer. Tell me you recognize him from right there. This is the deer I shot on this farm last year, 400 yards from here.
You didn't miss him this time.
We didn't hit him high this time. We got him good. Look, the muzzy ate his lunch. The Iowa DNR has done such a good job at managing these deer, and this is the way they manage them. You know, that's why they get to be 8 years old like this buck, 7, 8 years old, because they manage the herd well. Well, you got to give them the information so they know how to manage them. So at least we can do is call this in on time, do it by the book. Ta-da! That is one tagged legal Iowa buck that is now going to be an Oklahoma resident. Thank you, Yamaha Grizzly. Ain't gonna make life a lot easier tonight.
What do we got here, Dave?
Oh, you know, just how about the beams on that jugger?
All right, man.
What do you say about that, man?
Oh. Big deer. He's definitely got some length in those main beams.
Gosh, oh, no kidding. When you get a big old, what is he? What do you think his deer? 6, 7 years old? At least 7. When you get a big, giant, old, mature buck like that to come rolling through in daylight, you're happy. You shoot at him.
We've seen quite a few bucks out of that standing, haven't we?
We have. It's been intermittent, though. You know, I mean, but when you look at all the signs, you know they're here. You just got to have patience and stick with it, and eventually, Big Nasty will show up. Old mature deer. Kirby, we always have a good time with you, man. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, man.
I really appreciate it. Primetime Outfitters has got some big, old, mature deer right here in South Central Iowa, and one less.
Now we got one less, thanks to Dave.
Now I want to see. The guide puts him on a 4-wheeler, right?
Well, we got to get him up there in the back of the rhino here.
You're gonna put him there.
We're gonna attempt it, Tim.
We're gonna do a magic show here.
Dave and I are gonna attempt this.
Cue some fancy editing. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Ready?
Are you picking up?
Oh. Come on, Kirby.
Grab a hold of the other side.
Hang on.
Come on.
Are you ready?
Yep.
And go. Kirby, go, Kirby, go.
I guess we can flop him that way.
Yeah.
That's a heavy deer.
I don't know if I could have done that by myself in the dark. I mean, tomorrow I could. It's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm tired. I could have done it tomorrow. It's a beautiful morning when you know you're done and you got a big old nasty buck like that laying in the truck. Here in Iowa, they have a program called the HUSH program. It's called Help Us Stop Hunger. So, you know, there's a lot of meat in this big old 280-pound deer. and we're gonna help out some of the less fortunate. We've got a lot of killing we can still do and take a lot of meat home with us. There's a lot of people here that don't have that opportunity, so we're gonna do our part and help them out. So we're gonna go down to this, there's a butchering shop down the street here, and they're a donation drop-off center for the Hush program, and feed some hungry folks. Oh, we're trying to help feed some hungry people. Y'all still doing the Hush drop-off here?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good deal. Well, I got a bucket in the truck. Should I pull it around back, or?
Yep, that'll be, yeah.
If you're ever around Albia, Burrell's Meat Locker, drop it off. Help out some unfortunate people. Good spot, isn't it? That's a good spot.
Yeah.
Bob, good to meet you, man. I'll pull that deer around back and drop him off. Thank you, buddy. All right, man, thank you. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Now I got my rare second chance, and thank the good Lord I was able to capitalize on it. But you know, the state of Iowa really has it going on, not just in deer management, but the way they use their renewable resource to combat an even bigger, more serious problem like hunger in their state. The Hush program is just another way that hunters can be a part of the solution.
And with any luck, next year I'll have a tag and be able to do my part to help feed the hungry.
You better do some practicing.
Me? You're the one that took a gun and a bow to kill one deer. There are still people out there that think
it's the last day of the hunt. I grunted in a buck, a mature deer.
There are still people out there that think
I discovered this little clearing and the end of it.
There are still people out there that think that we've got it easy just because they see us on TV, just because we're on TV. Ready? But it's reality, and it does happen to us too.
For instance, I already did this line. I was laughing before it fell out of my mouth. What the heck?